Good morning, world. I am Judy, your web-based therapist, making therapy accessible and convenient for clients in Florida and New York, and of course, sharing information worldwide. Today, we're still talking about what is going on in the world. And what I want to say today is, I want to remind people that, what is going on is not something that an organization is going to fix. ANTIFA can't fix this. The NAACP can't fix this. None of these acronym groups can fix this. This is something that we as a people have to fix. And that's why today we're talking about 5 steps we can take towards getting closer to resolving the issue that is going on. This thing that we keep going through, that the Black community keeps experiencing. Actually, I'm not just going to say the Black community, our society keeps experiencing, because when it happens, it's not just one community that is impacted. Our communities, our country is being impacted. So in order to fix this, we can't look to an organization to do it for us. We as a community have to step up and do this together. And the first thing we need to do is be a unified community. There are so many different little groups, so many different organizations, so many different little groups and sectors of people who feel, who stay to their little pockets because, hey, these are my people. No, these are not your people. The whole community, everyone is your people. I often and I hate to use that, but I often tell people, when the Klan comes, they're not looking at, this is a house nigga, this is an immigrant nigga, they're looking at everybody as one. So if you are being attacked as one, and I'm not pointing to anyone, I'm not saying that any specific person, that's just the example that I use when I tell people that we need to unify as a single community, because they're not the people who are looking to harm us, the people who are looking to harm you. They're not looking at, hey, this one is an immigrant, this one is local. No, they're looking at, hey, all of them. They're not looking at who's the educated, who's not, who's hood, who's educated. They're looking at all of them. So it's important that if we are all being looked at as one community, that we learn to work and be unified as one community, because at the end of the day, that's how we survive. That's how we thrive. That's how we succeed. That's how we get to where we need to be. 2, we need to be educated and present in our communities. There are groups who are educated and focused, and by educated, by no means do I mean school educated. I mean community educated, world educated. We need to be aware of what is going on, what opportunities, what options, what barriers, what issues are in our community. And we need to be present, because when you are educated, when you are aware of what is going on, what is available, what is hindering, what is impacting, you're in a better position to bring solutions, to look for solutions, to make the right decisions. We need to be educated and we need to be present. This means that we don't just show up when we're excited about a candidate and vote in November and call it a day. This means that we need to be here on Saturday when this particular issue is going on, that we need to do what we can to be at commission meetings. And I know that they don't make commission meetings at the most convenient time for most people, but hey, most commission meetings are now available online. Whenever I'm not able to attend city commission meetings, while I'm doing housework or something, I turn it on. I go on YouTube, find the commission meeting, and I let it play in the background while I do whatever I have to do, because that way I can stay aware of, hey, this guy made this decision, this guy said this guy said that, because we need to be educated. We need to be aware of what is going on in our community so that we can be present and advocate for ourselves and our children and our community as a whole. 3, we need a community agenda. Everyone keeps saying that, but for some reason, as many decades have gone, that we've been saying that we still can't have one. We have to have a community agenda, because in order for everyone to participate, there needs to be something that everyone is working towards. And that's why, again, I started saying we need to be a unified community. Yes, there are different needs for different groups of people based on where you are in life. You have different needs, but there needs to be a community agenda, and we need to have that agenda, because that's what we push. We can't each little group be pushing something, because when everyone is pushing something different, what people will do is just find a way to divide us. Because if there are 5, 6, 7, 10 to 100 little groups, you just pick one little group that you want to work with, and then you tell them, hey, go get rid of the other ones. That's how it has worked. Divide and conquer. But when we are unified, we have the community agenda, certain things that we as a community, because again, not everyone is looking at you as an individual. A lot of people are looking at us as one group. So if they're looking at you as one group, we need to be working together as one group and have a community agenda, something that we stand for, something that we stand behind, and something that we're willing to work for. Fine. 4, we got to vote. I hate to sound like that broken record, but we do have to vote. And we have to vote again together. We have to be a voting bloc. A voting bloc is one of the most powerful things, because when candidates look at a voting bloc, they don't look at, hey, this is what this person needs, this is what that person needs. They're like, the voting bloc, they come together, they say, hey, I am a voting bloc of this many voters. I am a voting bloc of Mike, this is who I represent, and this is what percentage of our bloc votes. There are communities, even in Palm Beach County, there are areas that have well over like 90, some places may even have 100% voter turnout. We need to, after we create an agenda, we need to start voting, because I always tell people, a lot of times the election is not won by who showed up, it's won by who didn't show up. So if we're not showing up, we're making it easier for other people to get their needs met by showing up. And the other thing that happens when you fail to show up, this tells the people that you're inconsequential. I don't have to listen to you. They don't have to listen to you, because you can't do anything to them. But if we became a voting bloc, if we were showing up, if they knew, like I'm telling you, there are places in Palm Beach County where people where those residents, they will get what they want. The reason they get what they want is because people who run for office in those regions, they know that, hey, 90% of these people are coming to vote. So I want to make sure that when those 90 people come to vote, 90% of those people, they come to vote, I want to make sure that they're voting for me. That's how you get your needs met. You make sure that people know that you have the power, you have the capacity to impact them in what they need. Meaning that, hey, if you're not going to represent me, I am going to find someone who represents me. But if we're not showing up, that means that we can make the threat, we can say, we can ask, we can stomp our feet, we can do whatever we want. But at the end of the day, they don't really have to do anything, because, hey, we didn't show up anyway. Finally, we have to hold decision makers accountable. When you vote, that's your next responsibility. After you vote, you get people elected. You now have the duty to hold people accountable. When we have that community agenda, we need to be making sure that the people who we have elected are to represent our interests are actually representing our interests, that they are doing the things, because half the stuff that we deal with, a lot of, for instance, the police brutality is not something that the federal government really does much with, but it is something that community by community can be influenced by the things we do, because it's not the president, it's not Congress who determines what happens at your local police station. It's the mayor, it's the commissioners. So if you're making sure that the commissioners know that, hey, I want my son to come home safely, public safety is important to me, the safety of Black men, Black women in my community is an important thing to me. They are going to make sure that whatever is their police stations or their police leadership understand that, hey, we're not tolerating this. Yeah, right now, don't get me wrong. I'm not saying that this is not happening in many places, that they're not already saying that. But the point I want to make is that being able to hold people accountable means that it's going to go beyond the one who feels, the one who has the heart to do it. Let me put it that way. Because some people have the heart. Some people understand that, hey, this is what's right. But for the one who does not understand that this is how we do it, this is the right way to do it, at the voting block, at the voting booth is where you tell them, hey, this is what I want, and I want to make sure you do it that way. But the only way that happens is that, one, we start voting, and then after we vote, we hold them accountable so that if they're not representing us, we go and find other people to represent us. Okay, quick recap. One, we need to be a unified community because we need to come up with things together where if our community is under attack together, we need to be responding, we need to be acting, we need to have a unified response. So we need to be a unified community. Two, we need to be educated and present in our communities because things are happening at the local level that are impacting us every day. And that's where things start. So we need to be making sure that we're getting engaged, that we're aware of what is happening so that we're that we see resources, that we can be part of the solution, and that when resources are available, we are able to use them. Our community is able to benefit from them as well. Three, have a community agenda. This is something that everyone wants. Everyone wants public safety. Everyone wants their loved ones, and it doesn't matter what your race, ethnicity, or whatever. Everyone wants their loved one to go out for milk and come back home. Everyone wants to know that, hey, when I leave my house, I have a pretty good chance of, coming home. So making sure that we have a community agenda that tells the people who are making decisions what we want. 4, we have to vote. Once you have an agenda, you push your agenda, you have to vote the people who are going to enforce or implement that agenda for you, who are going to represent and push that agenda for you. But that only happens when we start voting as a voting block where we're showing up en masse. We can't be having these 30, 40, or maybe some communities have even less of a percentage of their voting population showing up. We need to start being that group that shows up 90%, where 90%, maybe even 100% of our voting population is showing up. That's how you start making people respect what you are asking for when you tell them that you can vote them out. And finally, we have to hold the decision makers accountable. After we vote for them, after we tell people, hey, this is what we want you to represent us, we have to make sure that we're holding them accountable, that we're participating in meetings and we're going and we're seeing what they're doing and calling them out if they're not representing us, and of course, voting them out if they're not representing us. As always, if you or someone else you know happens to be going through something that's more than you can handle, please remember that even right now when there's so much chaos going on, there are professionals like myself who are providing remote services, who are available, and willing to help with whatever you may have going on. So please make sure that you're taking time to reach out, to figure out who those people are in your community so that if you need them, you can reach out and get the help that you need. And that is all we have for today. Good morning, world. Have an awesome day.